Guys, welcome to Bunny's Designs. This is recorded for YouTube. I have been working in my Beauties of Nature colour book, and then I got the bug to kind of do my own sketches and watercolours again. So I had a bit of a play on some kind of rough paper, which is brilliant for just having a play on, and it's recycled from coffee cups. So I'm having a bit of a play with that, and then I've forgotten that a few months ago I bought this mixed media paper. So I thought I had a bit of a play with this page here, and I got to here and well, I did the this was missing and that was missing, and then when I flower, I realized that the drawing wasn't quite things had been missed off it. That leaf, this petal's missing, and I thought, oh, rather than faff about, I would draw it out myself and color it in. So I'm not sure if you can see the sketch on there. So I just thought you might find it interesting. Now try and speed it up when I edit if I can, but I just thought, and Alfie's asleep on my legs. He's asleep on my legs. Oh, Alfie. Back on the sofa with the headache, so not feeling very well, but decided that I needed to do a little bit of art therapy. But the sketch was driving me nuts because it wasn't the same, and I don't want dark lines around it where it's got a highlight. So I decided to draw it myself, and then I'm going to use my Windsor and Newton watercolors. Now there are a couple of Sanilia in here, but I've not really impressed with my Sanilia paints. So I'm back to my Windsor and Newton. I've always loved Windsor and Newton professional watercolors. Some of these are the tubes that I bought. So I will be keeping the Sanilia ones for my colouring in, and my artwork will be Windsor and Newton. And I have put them in this metal tin, which is a Reeves. I think it's a Reeves tin, but I liked it because it's quite handy. I can get the paintbrushes in here. I've rejiggled it and taken out the lovely pot that was with it, and I've put some cardboard underneath and raised it all up. I will be changing this when my other box comes that I've bought 2 more boxes, and put the originals back in here. But it's just handy at the minute because I can get my paintbrushes in here. It has a metal little lovely metal palette. So at the minute I've just got this blue grey going on here for this one, and this is the toadstool colors. So I'm quite happy to play with this. It's not difficult to hold. I did a color swatch, and again I just made this from my folding the page little squares, no measuring, no messing, no rulers, nothing, just folding it, do it easy. I will eventually cut this up and put it into the middle because obviously it doesn't fit because they're spaced out differently. But basically there's 3 sections, or there's 2 sections, and I can work out what the colours are. So I'm putting this upside down for the minute, purely because it just helps me being upside down. So my palette sits in the lid. I'll lift it up in a second. So the palette is sitting in the lid. It's very handy, and if I flip this upside down, my colours match as well, and I can sit this up here. So I'm holding it upright. So everything is handy and easy to use, which is what I want. I've been playing with cerulean blue, which was here, and a darker blue and some purple, cerulean blue, sorry, and some sepia. I think this darker one sepia. So I've had a bit of a play to get this blue grey here. Hubby's made me a cup of tea, so Alvy's asleep. There is a pussycat behind me, and a couple in the next room. I'm also liking using my two, spilt it, hands don't work well either, my two Elizabeth Arden face creams, which look like little impots when they're ready. So that's the day one, this is the night one, but they're lovely little kind of glass ink wells. So one's got clean water in and the other one has got the dirtier water. So this one I'm washing the brush out with. I would have liked to do it away, but of course I can see that this is clear. So that's for cleaning the brush, and this is for clean water for mixing. So when you're using watercolors, you really do need two. I also have an old tea towel as well for spills, which they're obviously going to be spills. Now, luckily, I didn't spill actually on there, just spilled past me. So that's good. This is also quite good. I do have an original sponge here, which I've gone back to sponges. If I was out and about, I would be using a hand wipe. I do have my face wipes, but I've been tempted to use this. So there's some marks on here. And I find that the tea towel is a lot easier because when I want to put it on top of the paints to protect everything, stop things rattling, and I'm also kind of a bit messy. So it's actually just very near me here. So I can just touch, dry, and then go in. Because remember, when you're using a colour book, your watercolors need to be fairly kind of not straight from a palette because they're too wet. So this particular paper here is, I would say, photocopy paper. So really, if you want it not to buckle, I've done a couple. This is a little bit thicker, so I've been able to work with a bit more. But this one, definitely, you've got to work quite dry. So I think I've done that one, and I started the rose, but the drawings are getting on my nerves. They really were getting on my nerves. There's a quick video about this one, but the drawings were really getting on my nerves. I think I started a rose one, so I haven't finished that one for building up, but building up damp layers, not wet layers, because obviously we're on really thin paper. So as I say, I just had a bit of a play to find the colours, but thought quite like this book, but this drawing, because it wasn't accurate underneath and it was quite dark, and I got the grey. I love this, but then found it difficult to work because there's a petal missing, and if I'm looking at the furthest petal, it's not there because that's that one. That's there, and then there's another bit under here and it's not been drawn. So I thought, okay, then we'll draw it again. And I think on this one there's a couple of things missing on it. This one, that's the wrong shape here. I was following this plant here. This one is a completely different shape to this one, so I decided, okay, then let's do it on slightly. It's still, actually it's absorbed all that water I've spilt. It feels like photocopy paper. In fact, I've actually made a mistake. That is photocopy paper. My husband gave me a few sheets of photocopy paper, so that's the rough drawing. That's the rough drawing. That is the photocopy paper, and I'm not sure what I've done with the thingy paper. That paper is thicker, but that one is the coffee cup one. I did pull one of these out, but I don't know what I've done with it. So let's have a look. Did I put it back in here? I've used it for a sketch. So if I'll take that out. It's actually fallen to bits, but it doesn't bother me. So this is what I'm working on. So hopefully it's going to let me work quite nicely and not too wet. I don't want to work too wet. I'm not in a wet mood. Yes, this is the card. So yeah, made a mistake starting on the photocopy paper. The reason I have copy paper is I use it when I'm sorting the colours. When you're matching colours, you start matching colours and then you keep going, and then I had to go onto here. And I actually preferred this one that I had. But then I thought, no, okay, we need to get it exactly right. So then I started to play about and these blues. Now they do change slightly in different directions. I was using this one up here. So it was too grey, was this. This is fairly greyish, really, but it depends how accurate you want to be. I mean, obviously, if you want to, you can paint this pink or whatever colour you like. So I've just done a very rough sketch there, but I photocopy paper for that reason. Is it's there as a reference, and I do. So now I've got to start and sketch it again, but I just thought you might find this interesting. So I've got automatic focus on, but hopefully if I don't move too much, we'll be okay. Finding it difficult holding things up today. So I've got my mechanical pencil. I think it's a 2B, but it's just a rough sketch. So I'm going to start with this one. I could start in the middle with that one, couldn't I? Suppose being the same size, I suppose you've got a rough, you do have a rough idea of what you're doing. It's just if I start at this, I just can't hold my shoulder up today. I can't hold anything up today. So just see if we can just get this going. And I also forget where I am as well, so and probably what I might do is just do a flower, because otherwise you get a little bit fed up of you'll probably get a little bit fed up of seeing a sketch that you may not be able to see very well, but I really don't want I really don't want legs. Normally I don't really sketch like this. I'm normally one line and that's it, but So there is a bit of a flower there going on. And then I just have another. So I think, because that's one flower, I think I might actually just sketch that, and sorry, paint that rather. So I think I'm going to paint that. Try and keep the big head out of the way. Move that forward just a little bit. That might be a bit easier to use. So I do have the blue. So I'm using a 2-0 and a number 2. I do have a number 3 sable series 7 there. I think that might be just a bit too big, and I might be okay with that one. I think I'm going to stick with my series 7, a number 3 and a number 2-0. Now this is the famous one that I paid 99p for it many years ago, Jowett and Sari, that used to be on the hedgerow at Leeds when I was a student. And this is one that I've had for a while. So I do have a new set of 4 of these, but I think I would like to get to a number, a 0, a number 1, I think, rather than number 2. The other one I was using, which is a number 2, is the series 16 sable. And this particular one, again, I've had since I was about 16, you can tell. The mixing one, I'm using a number 1 to mix, and this is just a Blick Scholastic Wonder brush. So I'm trying to mix with these rather than with the sable, and then I've got a couple of dips to do, and then trying to get onto the sponge here, which has dried out. It was quite squishy yesterday, but it's dried out a bit. But I did want it a little bit wet. See if I can re-wet it. It's I've had it a long time. They go very dry when they're wet. When the thingy, it's a proper thingy sponge, and they're very expensive. Sorry, but I've had it a while, so decided I'm going to use all my nice things, my professional watercolors and everything. I'm in the mood to do that. So this color I mixed earlier, and then I played about with it, adding other things. So it's not a brilliant color there, and there isn't a lot of it either. So again, really not following my own rules. If you were going to make all these colors, you should really be in a little well, so that it didn't matter. Do the darks first and the mediums, and then it doesn't matter, because you'll always have the right amount. And of course, I'm not doing that. So I have to shout at myself. So I'm going to have to hold it upright, because obviously, now that's a very pale, that one. So I know I could rub some of this out, but I'm going to leave it in. So I'm working on this one. So in the middle there, it was quite dark. So if I worked on this section, now that's damp, so now I need to go somewhere else, really, and make that quite damp, and I'm painting with the wrong brush, of course. So I'm going to go with my number 3 sable. I think I've decided. Take the excess water off so it's damp, but just pick a little bit up, and it's not even as bright as that one now. So that's quite pale there. I don't have a white highlight. I think it's all. The trick is not to go over it too many times. So I'm just going to get a damp brush and then pick up a small amount of colour. So I've even diluted the palest colour. And that way, I know I'm not picking up too much colour. So that's slightly darker. And then that goes over there. So I do have a line there that I should have rubbed out, but never mind, it's there. If you just give everything a pale colour first. Now, I've not worked on this paper before, so I'm not sure what's going to happen. And again, I want just a damp brush. Now, this is slightly wetter than I would work if I was working on in the actual book. It would be slightly different. So I'm working on this really, that's the colour, and then this is just a real pale damp. That's almost right. I'm going to switch to my smaller brush, my 2-0 brush. And I don't want any wet anywhere, so again, I can be a little bit bolder now. And I can think that that would be a bit darker. And there is a small highlight on there, but not much. And again, I just wanted a kind of a peaceful way to work today. So I've got those two, and then there's the third one there. And then there's a kind of a I've lost that highlight by not concentrating. You don't want to go in too early with the darks if you can help it. And I've lost that highlight as well because that doesn't go there either. I think this one is a bit small, this brush really. Yeah, I think I'm going to go a bit bigger with that. The 3 is a bit big, but it's going to be fine. It has a nice point. These series 7 have a nice point. So sometimes it's not good to kind of rub constantly on there. And then the whole of this one. And it must be nearly 4 o'clock because it's bungle time. transfer that one. And I've lost the highlight on that one as well. I'm not doing well for highlights. I seem to be losing them as fast as I pick them up. Just keep checking before. You can always go darker, but it's always slightly more difficult to go lighter. Of course, your highlights are going to look so much better when they are next to a shadow. So there's a lot of looking. And the trick is to remember on which petal you're at as well. That's always a good idea, because it's always difficult to try and keep on the right petal. And it takes a long time before you need to put detail in, and you always want to be doing the last bit first, but it's always better not to do that. Healthy. I think it's more grey than blue. I think I've lost the grey. See, but I can put a spark of blue back in if we want. It's nearly 4 o'clock. Oh, sorry about that. Hubby's just going through my book. He's going shopping, so he has to go through my book for me. So how yuck that looks. It's just making this colour again. So I used, first of all, I have to put my sable brush down and to pick up my cheapy brush and cerulean blue. Make some, I'm going to make a darker colour, I think, actually. Got a slightly bigger brush here. This is the one that came in the set with the Senilia professional set. So I'm going to use that for mixing. Oopsie, no, put that down. So this one is the palest of blue, so it looks like the cerulean blue. And then I was putting some sepia into that to make a blue grey, really. And let me just see if we're there. Getting that little bit grayer, but that's fine. I haven't made very much of it. So then going back to my 3-0. I don't need the tiny one yet. Damp brush, picking up quite a fair amount of colour this time. Twisting it, and then it's dry. I'm not working very wet. I mean, you get a lot of a nicer effect when you work wetter, but I don't really want to work too wet. So, and I don't normally work like this. It's not working for me because I'm not comfortable for a start off, and that's my main rule. Always be comfortable, but I've had problems with the camera this morning, so I'm not comfortable. I don't like the drawing as such. I'm not happy with the drawing. It's a rough drawing, and really it shouldn't be rough. And we have a little girl appearing. Now here we have our Betsy Doodles. Hi, Betsy Doodles. Hello, Betsy. Here's Betsy. Look at this girl here. Hi, Bets. Here she come. Betsy. See if I can get her. Hi, Bets. Now this is how good she is, but it's tea time. Hello, darling. Come on. Psst, 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 psst. No, she's sulking. Betsy Doodles. Betsy. Oh, what's this? Betsy. I'm just about to do a trailer about her as well. Come on then. Come on. Come on. Betsy. Oh, Betsy, you know you want to. Bets. Nope, she's calling me out. Nope. It's tea time, so there's no hope when it's tea time. And of course, the Alf Master is just on the floor up there, so he's distracting her. But she's been out coming for some good snuggles. And a lady came. We're trying to. Oh, I can't say in case my. But a lady came to the house, and Alfie was in the same room, and he was very good. And Betsy actually came out for snuggles all the time this lady was in the house. So that was really unusual. And of course, that's our Bungle. That's Bungle waving to come in. Don't know why I've done that one dark. I think I got that one mixed up with that one, so I've done it too dark. So I'm not really happy with this. I'm not very comfortable, as I say, which is my number one rule. And I've got rid of that lovely shadow. That's gone. And this colour is too grey. I've made it too grey, this colour. So, yeah, I can't do this. It's really bad, not comfortable. I don't know what petal I'm on. So that's a bit of a fail. But the setup is fine. You just have to be able to paint. And obviously I can't. Okay, guys, thanks for watching.